Both sides. Woo! How about that one?
That's our new leaders right there.
Big Stewie!
University of Montevallo, 24-96. National champions, Wallace State, Briar and Clinton. What's up, everybody? Welcome into the latest episode of the Rapala We Are Collegiate Bass podcast. Going to be joined today by the winners of the AFCO Collegiate Bass Open. Took place just over a week ago there at Lake Darnell in Russellville, Arkansas. The winners of that tournament were Matt Higbee and John Foster Case from Arkansas Tech. Matt, let's pull you right in and get to it, man. We're a week removed. I ask this question every time to the winners of our events that have taken place. What's it like, man? What's it been like? Has your phone been blowing up? Got a lot of awesome traction on social media, things like that. Has it really set in that y'all accomplished a major victory at a major event on a college circuit?
Yeah, man, it's great. All the calls and texts from my friends and family and everybody. Lots of people I don't even know calling me and texting me, and it's been great. The support from everybody is just amazing.
These major victories like this, man, a field of 218 boats, that's a huge accomplishment to go home with the prizes and payout that y'all did. I believe that was valued at well over $3,000 in total stuff. We'll get into that in a little bit as well. John, talk real quick, man. Same kind of question I asked Matt. Let's take it more to perspective of what y'all pulled off that weekend, besting that elite field, winning some major prizes. How awesome was those 2 days there in Russellville, where your school is also located?
Yeah, man, it meant a lot to us. Me and Matt were both from Clarksville or Lamar, so we fished this lake since we were kids. So to be able to pull off a major victory on your home lake means a lot.
Throughout the years, we've seen this play out. I myself went to school at the University of Arkansas, not from the state, but familiar with that body of water and what's taken place there over the last 10 or 12 years in the college tournament scene. And it's not rare to see local anglers that are familiar with that body of water do well. So let's break down some of the specifics of what exactly y'all were doing to get those bites. Matt, talking to you on the stage, I remember there on day one, you said you just kind of ran stuff that you've had success with this fall so far and just hit a bunch of different spots and it came together. Talk a little more in detail about how that day planned out from start to finish as y'all caught. I got it written down right here. Let me find it. 15.5 pounds on day one of tournament competition.
Yeah, so going into day one, we knew we were going to have a big bag to do well in the tournament because we knew weights they're going to drop the second day, and going into it, we knew we weren't going to catch them as good as we did the first day if we did end up having a big bag, and we knew we needed a big bag, so we did what we thought we could do to catch a big bag, and that was throw a big top water and throw a crankbait, and actually it ended up we caught every fish on the first day on a shaky head. So that's how that goes for you on Lake Darnell. But we were around the big ones. In practice, I pulled up on the first spot that we started on first day of the tournament, and first cast on the end of this underwater jetty and caught a 4-pounder as soon as my spook hit the water. It blew it out of the water, and I twitched it two more times and caught a 4-pounder, and we left right then, and we knew that's where we were going to start at.
Talking about that pattern a little bit, John, let's expand on that. So things can change from day to day. We highlighted it going into the event about how, they're there one day, gone the next, they move. That happens at a lot of fisheries, especially during the fall when these temperatures start to drop and these fish really get on the move. And we had cooler temperatures, and I'm sure it's even into a greater effect now as we're a week removed from that event. But let's talk about what y'all were fishing. Matt referenced an underwater jetty. Was there anything specific that y'all were targeting in the way of rock offshore coverage? There's not a ton on Darnell, but you can get off the bank and find some little irregularities in the middle of creek channels and things like that, or were y'all beating the bank up on the shore with everybody else? Talk about what exactly y'all were targeting to get your bites in terms of cover and structure.
Yeah, we were just fishing the rocks that were underwater, like off the ends of jetties. And on Saturday morning, they actually were flowing some current, and that was like the first morning they flowed current on this lake in like the past couple months. And current here makes the world of difference. So when we got up the river Saturday morning, we saw that they were flowing current. We knew it was going to be a good day. And when the current rips over the tops of those underwater jetties, them fish just stack up on the backside of them things. And that's what we did all day long. And on one of the underwater jetties we were fishing, it was like a blowhole. So the sand had like washed out where the current flows over the top of it. and we were fishing in that sand drop on the other side of that jetty, and that's where we caught some of them on Saturday too.
That's awesome. We heard a lot of successes. I've talked to anglers during and after the event of teams that were able to if you're able to get off the bank and find something, though not anything too crazy, just something different, a little regularity like you're talking about there, something in the middle of a creek, a channel swing, things like that, something that was a little different than just the regular bank beating type things these anglers were doing. That was the difference. Matt, talk a little bit about how you went about locating these places. Did you know of them already from past history, or did you go into this event saying, man, we got to find this, let's go find more of it, even though we may not know of those exact spots currently?
Right. So yeah, like you said, when people come to this lake, there's so much good looking stuff on the bank. That's where they go to first. And if you can find something offshore that's just a little bit different than everybody else's fishing, it makes a big difference. And actually, after we had fished that stuff in the river, we came back in the afternoon and actually caught another 3-pounder on a piece of offshore brush in Russellville, and that ended out our bag, that 15.5-pound bag that we really needed. But in the river, what we were really doing, it's not something that, unless you live here, because I've looked around and just from old men and stuff telling me, you kind of got to live here to know where these places are at. Because this one underwater jetty that we're fishing, it's been there for a long time, and it's barely got any rocks showing anymore because there's so much sand on top of it. And you'd either have to run over and hit it or just know that it's there to find it. So it helps being a local here and knowing that and having past experience with things like that. But if you can find something like that, it's a big deal. But just finding those, those things that people aren't going to normally find. And even when one of our spots, we were running across, 4 to 6 inches of water on top of some sand to get in there. And we knew nobody else was going to be doing that to get to that spot. So we knew that we had that spot to ourselves.
That's the difference sometimes, not only the spots and locations that you're fishing, but maybe even the baits. John, let's talk a little more about whether it's the soft plastics you were catching them on the shaky head or anything else you were offering at them. What was tied on the deck of that boat during boat days of tournament competition? It is a fall fishing event. Man, anything can really be up for grabs on those days.
Yeah, we had some power fishing baits like crankbaits and big topwaters and stuff like that. And I think we caught a couple small fish on those on Saturday, but the majority of our weight came off a shaky head with a green pumpkin purple trickworm. And we knew most people coming here, they power fish, so we were deciding to slow down and show them a little something different that they hadn't seen from the other 217 boats.
We're talking with Matt Higbee and John Foster Case, winners of the AFCO Collegiate Bass Open, representing Arkansas Tech University from there in Russellville, Arkansas. Matt, before we stop talking about the particulars of fishing, I want to ask one more question. So this is something that I learned, too, in my time up in Arkansas, and it's not to say that it's particular to that part of the country. It's probably something that a lot of people do all across. But throwing a trick worm, a larger style finesse worm on a shaky head. You hear finesse fishing and shaky heads and you think small, compact, short baits, maybe 4 inches at length max. When you throw that trick worm, it's a little longer. It's a little bigger offering. Sometimes you're going to get bigger bites, not to say you still won't catch little ones, but talk about kind of that setup. It's a little unique if some people have never thought to try it or heard of it. That little bigger worm on the back of a finesse style presentation, that could get some really good bites still, even though you have downsized.
Yeah, I actually hate to tell people this, but on Lake Dardanelle, I've made more money on a green pumpkin trickworm than any other bait that I've put in the water on Lake Dardanelle. And it's just something that they don't see a lot. And like you said, it's a 6-inch worm. So if think about throwing a 6-inch glide bait or something. It's the same length. It's something that's more finesse, but it gets big bites. It is a big bait. It's just, a smaller profile.
Let's talk about the prizes real quick. John, you guys went home with a $1,000 Bass Pro Shops gift card, $200 AFCO gift card, 10-inch Bob's Machine Shop jack plate, and a Rapala tackle package. Man, for a no entry fee tournament to go home with that much stuff, that's a pretty good haul right there.
Yeah, that's an awesome payout. Especially we didn't have any travel expenses and all of that, so our school isn't having to pay for any of our entry fees or any of that. So it's a big payout to be free, pretty much.
Yeah, let's talk about being right there close by. Arkansas Tech, located in Russellville. You guys said you grew up just up the highway a little bit from town. How awesome of an area is it? What a benefit for your school to have this Lake Dardanelle, in your backyard, pretty much. Where anytime you want to slip off from campus, takes maybe 5 or 10 minutes to get to the boat ramp, and you're out there on the Arkansas River catching some bass.
Yeah, it's nice to have Lake Dardanelle right here in our back door. We can, go fishing after class every day. And I think for college fishing, this is probably one of the best lakes to have as your home lake. And like me and Johns are good friends with Fred Rumbanis, and he fishes all over the country, on the Bass Pro Tour. And he always tells us, if you can figure out how to catch them consistently on this wet lake, then you can catch them anywhere. And from fishing here my whole life, I do believe that after we started to travel the country, it just seems easier to catch them everywhere else. We may not always catch them other places, but by fishing here, it does make it seem easier to catch them other places.
John, expand on that a little bit. What particularly is it? You get all 4 seasons for sure located where y'all are at. So you get the hot summers, you get the cool fall, winter, and spring. You get everything there. So you get the seasons, you have the variety of cover, and you might even say it can get a little difficult at times. And so you've got to work to find those fish. What of those variables in particular do you think makes y'all more successful when you leave that part of the country to go catch fish somewhere else?
Yeah, there's just so many ways you can catch them on Lake Dardanelle. You can catch them in the grass in the summer, chasing shad. You can catch them out deep on the shell bed, throwing the top water against the bank, just flipping wood, fishing the current. And other lakes, you just dial in on like one of those things. But on this lake, you can run all of them in the same day and catch them all those ways.
All right, last 2 questions here. We'll hit each of you guys one more time with the question, and we'll get out of here. School of the Year points. Bass Pro Shop School of the Year presented by Abu Garcia. Y'all may or may not know this. Arkansas Tech, the very first year this program was in place, won that title. I was actually in school at Arkansas. We finished in 3rd, and so I remember for sure who won because they beat us. But Arkansas Tech got the win in that one. Here for you guys with the AFCO Collegiate Bass Open, major points, 1,750 points towards first place. Matt, talk about what that means for the rest of y'all season as we're about halfway through. Towards the end of the year, we'll start to push through the halfway mark of the season. Arkansas Tech, valuable points coming out of it, and you guys were able to contribute.
Yeah, coming into Arkansas Tech fishing in our freshman year, we didn't have a lot going for us. I mean, we had a few sponsors and stuff like that, but we had a couple people come in that are trying to help us with this club, and we're trying to build it back up better than ever. And we may not see the results of it, me and John, while we're in school, but hopefully by the time we graduate, we can build it up to a point to where we can have, scholarships for future fishermen coming into here, and we can have money for, like Montevallo and all those schools that send 10 teams to a tournament or 15 teams. We're only sending 2, 3, 4 teams to a tournament at a time max, and we're trying to build it back up. So it means a lot to us getting this win, because it shows our school and it shows all our sponsors that we are capable of doing what we need to do to, get more money, get more funding, and hopefully we can just keep doing what we're doing and build up this club for future collegiate anglers.
Seems like a pretty common story. We hear about it all the time, and it's probably a broken record when I say it, but a lot of the public institutions like you guys, we had Mason from the University of Arkansas on the last episode previewing the tournament that y'all won, and it just goes in ebbs and flows, man. Some kids will come in and be really fired up like y'all are, and you're going to get it going, and sometimes it's going to drop off as different anglers graduate and there's not that underclassmen support to keep it going. But major victories like this, like you said, notoriety, we've got all the information on our website. We've posted about the tournament, the shares across social media. It's making noise for the team, and it's good for the team. On top of y'all's first place finish, you also had another team inside the top 20, I believe, so that goes a long ways to taking advantage of those double points. John, last question to you, man. As a 2-angler pairing for yourselves and the team as a whole, what's the goal for the rest of the season as we push towards, with that victory, y'all did automatically qualify for the Boat U.S. Collegiate Bass Fishing Championship presented by Bass Pro Shops at Lake Hartwell in May. That's the last event of the season. Going towards that last event for the ACA, you got 6 or 7 months to go. What do y'all want to achieve? What are y'all looking to accomplish as a group?
Yeah, I think this year's goal is just to get into the top 15 or 20 as goal of the year points, because we haven't had that much money and support, so we can't send 2 teams to every tournament where you can get points. So this year we're just going to try to grind it out and end in the top half of the schools, and then next year we're going to try to get enough sponsors and money to send at least 2 teams to every tournament where we can end up in the top 5 next year.
That's a heck of a goal, man. We'll keep an eye on you guys there from Russellville, Arkansas, Arkansas Tech University. Matt and John, winners of the APCO Collegiate Bass Open just a little over a week ago. Y'all, thanks for joining us on the phone here today, men. And we'll see y'all hopefully again later down the road, if not for sure the championship, as we all did qualify with that automatic qualification inside the top 5.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
Fishing is all about connecting with nature. Then grabbing nature by the lip and holding it up for a picture.
To fishermen and other liars, the time you spent on the docks, the banks, the boats, the lines you cast, and the hooks you set. These moments you share with the people you love, the fish you never forget, and the tales that get taller with every retelling. Make memories that'll last a lifetime with Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here.